Welcome to A1TV with my co-host, or the person who used to host this program, Michael Gallus. Welcome.
Thanks, Stoney. Great to be back. Great to be back on A1 TV, Healthy Living, Monday nights, and yeah, a bit of a change going on, Stoney. Bit of a change going on. You interviewing me.
You know what's one thing, Michael? I've always wanted to interview you as a person because I've admired you from afar and some of the things you've done. I thought I was a busy person, but I was looking through your track record, mate. You've done everything. So I looked at some of the things like you're a teacher, you're a charity owner, you're a Uber driver, you've coached football, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Very good coach of the AFL Pakistani team, which is something we'll talk about. You've just ran for election at council. Michael, how do you fit it in? What drives you as a person?
Well, you don't get much sleep, Stoney. That's the first thing. Something's got to go if you want to pack as much as you can into your day. So over the since I started the charity, Footies for All, which is a totally volunteer, and we've given out with amazing support. I mean, you can't do anything in your life, and me included, and yourself. You're, as you said, extremely busy man, and you can't be successful without a great team around you. And Footies for All, the supporters that I've had, and the volunteers and the sponsors coming into when we started, 2012. So yeah, 9 years we've just ticked over. So coming into 10 years next year, distribute over 27,000 new balls to kids in need across Australia and around the world. Has been extraordinary, and it's been that team around me that inspires me and motivates me. And so over 10 years, I've got used to basically survive on about 6 hours sleep a night. So I run 18-hour days. And that's included, I've got 3 beautiful children, Thomas, Lily and Benjamin, an amazing wife and a puppy dog, Gigi, who's like your puppy dog, Stoney. And we're only here for a short time, and you live by this philosophy too, and a lot of our viewers do, that I was lucky enough to reach throughout A1 TV last year. So you've got to make the most of life, and you've got to stay positive, and you've got to look at it as cup half full, because we're not here for a long time. You, along with me, know lots of people. We've seen lots of tragedies, and we've seen lots of health decrease basically overnight. I mean, I've got a really good friend whose grandma just 2 days ago just came down with ovarian cancer, and we've had friends, fit as fiddles, all ages, from, you know, even kids that I've taught to, you know, adults that are 50, 60, 70 years old, that one day you're fighting fit and the next day you've got a debilitating health and you're fighting for your life. So you've really got to make the most of your time here, and that's what I certainly try and do, and stay positive. And it's so much fun, Stoney, isn't it? How many different things. And I've been lucky enough to know you for, yeah, oh, golly, nearly 20 years, I reckon,
yeah, it's been
as well.
20. Yeah, so I suppose episode 1 of Stoney's piece on A1 TV, we're going to go right back, Nick, and just about Footies for All, and things start with an idea. How did that start? How did it come about?
Well, again, I turned 40 and had a midlife crisis. Most people, you know, buy a red Ferrari, or they trade their wife in for the younger version. And I was crazy enough to decide to start a charity. And through my life in education, through my life in commentating AFL and also coaching community football at a junior level across male and female, I'd seen the power of sport and the impact that it made on kids. And I thought I wanted to, you know, more likely to die in the second half of your life than the first half by statistics. And even though I thought I'd been a good member of society and I'd contributed and been a good father, I wanted to leave a legacy in relation to helping those without a voice. So the disadvantaged, the underprivileged, the incarcerated, really in Australia, Aboriginal groups, especially in remote areas. And I wanted to give them something through sport, because I knew if we can engage people in sport, they're going to be positive, they're going to be busy, you're hopefully going to have good mentors around them and give them an opportunity. And every kid loves playing with a ball, I thought, just came out of the blue. And I looked at all the different charities. Not one charity is involved with giving out sporting equipment. When I started in 2012, there's a couple now that are doing it, and they're doing a great job with it. And also I wanted to give a new ball. I could collect recycled stuff, but all the kids watch TV, they've got phones. I've been to the most remote places in Australia in Aboriginal communities, and also across Fiji, Pakistan, New Zealand. They've all got a phone. They're all watching their heroes play sport, and they're all the same ball I wanted to give to those kids, to give them an opportunity to play sport, be healthy, but most importantly, to let them know someone's caring about them and give them hope. If someone gives you hope, you can do extraordinary things.
We're very lucky in this country, Mick, that we've got a lot of people. We're rich in resources. We've got a lot of people that care. A lot of people give their time and energy, and obviously donate things. And I know that it's not only it takes a lot of people to run a charity, and I can imagine the hours and the effort. And you actually gave up your profession as a teacher to do this, and which is a fantastic thing. So that's a big thing in itself.
Yeah. So and I gave it up for 2 years to have as a teacher and full-time worker. Went into casual work to try to get state and federal funding. And sadly, over the last 2 years, we haven't been able to do that, basically because we don't tick the government bureaucracy boxes, because no one's ever done this before. So therefore, if you don't fit the mould, well, then basically they can't get their head around on what you're doing, which is really disappointing. But you just keep soldering on, don't you, Stoney? It's their loss. And as you said, it's extraordinary. Basically, in the last week, thanks to Ben Gallus, who raised $5,000 in COVID lockdown. He climbed our stairs, 30 stairs. He climbed them to the equivalent of the height of Mount Everest. So it took him, I think it was 3 months, and hours climbing every single day to climb to the equivalent of Mount Everest. Channel 10, thanks, big shout out to Channel 10, fantastic, did a story on him. He went from raising $500 to $5,000 because of that story. And we were able to put footballs up to, as you know, the Wanderers, Northern Territory, the mighty Muck-Mucks, where Brodie Newman, a young Aberfeldy footballer that I coached with my son many years ago, is playing footy. We sent footies up to there. He's going to do an outreach program on the Tiwi Islands. Another mate of mine, Ricky Baldwin, who does an Aboriginal basketball program here in Melbourne, an absolute legend. He was able to organise with great donations from lots of people in the basketball community to send basketballs out to Papunya, which is, for those of you that don't know your Aboriginal communities, 4 hours west of Alice Springs. So literally in the middle of Australia, in the middle of nowhere. What about this, Stoney? They built them a basketball court, but didn't give them any basketballs. So what do you think the kids are going to do? How can you play basketball without the ball? And again, comes back to footies for all. So we sent footies out there. We were able to donate footies to the Footscray Church of Christ, and they gave them out at Christmas time to refugee kids in the flats that had no opportunities to have Christmas presents. So you do what you can do, and you make such an impact in those little communities too. And it's just amazing the support that I continue to have from people, just ordinary people like you or me, that know that the impact that the power of sport can make.
You know what? You're an inspiration, Mick, because the people out there that are watching this and listening, do their 9 to 5 job every day. They wake up and do the same thing. But I've spoken to you about some of the places you've been to and some of the people that you've met along the way. Footies for All has taken you into a lot of different places, a lot of different regions, a lot of different countries. It's amazing, that, isn't it? Yeah,
it's extraordinary. And again, if you're open to new ideas, you don't know where it's going to lead. If you look back to 9 years ago when I started this, there is no way. I mean, I've been lucky enough. I was one of the very few Westerners in Pakistan last year, and I was lucky enough to tour the whole country and be safe in doing so and promote AFL. Who would have thought that the Pakistani community was given the opportunity, and still as head coach of their women's national team, to play AFL across Pakistan. And I love Pakistan, and I was supposed to be back there last year, and I hate COVID because I couldn't get back there, but very soon we're going back. And through that stimulus of myself being over there, meeting all these people and inspiring them, they're starting to build a national competition across the whole of Pakistan, which is just extraordinary stuff. That's seriously extraordinary.
That fascinates me, Michael. There's actually AFL. We've heard about New Zealand and Japan, but to have AFL in India and Pakistan in particular, tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, and again, it comes back to the Melbourne Shaheens here, Cash Bones, who's the community officer at the Footscray Western Bulldogs Footy Club. Through the International Cup that's been played in Australia over the last 8 years, Pakistan had a men's team for 2 years there. And then in 2017, where are we up to? 2019, lucky enough to bring over a women's team. They thought they were playing soccer, Stoney. They seriously thought that the football was the round ball. And when they got here and played the first game against Great Britain, who absolutely poleaxed them, as you might imagine, they came to me at quarter time and wanted to know why the ball was funny and why we were getting thrown to the ground and smashed every time we went near it, because in soccer that doesn't happen. And it was just extraordinary, that courage and resilience those girls showed to me. And then through them getting on a plane, coming to a foreign country, playing a game they had no idea about, I knew and I promised them that I would visit, and they invited me to visit their country. And despite the Western world and its view of Pakistan and everything else, I could not show them the courage they showed me to travel to their country and to see the beautiful people. And then through AFL Pakistan, Sardar Tariq, the president, Cruze Real, the general secretary, and then and AFL people in different regions. They taught themselves across the internet to be coaches, to be umpires. Some of their fields that I went to were set up better than the country fields you have in Australia, Stoney. So how extraordinary is that? I was the first Australian coach AFL to go over to actually teach them how to do things and to understand the rules and the game. But the passion for it across the country, it's seriously extraordinary. And it'd be great if the AFL actually resourced us to get on board. But as we know, like the government, all they care about is themselves pretty much, not the international side of it as much as they should. It's just extraordinary. And there's 220 million Pakistanis. So if you get 1% of the population, you've got the whole of Australia playing.
You know, the thing is, Mick, you know, the great thing about the game of Aussie rules, and it's great to see Pakistan playing and participating, is development of players, and the improvement that comes through just playing the game and getting the skills. I'm sure you would have seen some development with skill sets and improvement through the girls.
Yeah, no doubt. And obviously it's a lot more difficult in Pakistan for women to be playing sport. And yet, and that's not because the men don't want them to play. It's because they haven't had opportunities. And again, the men haven't been taught that how to do it and how to accept women into sport and how to facilitate their opportunities. And again, me going over there 2 years ago, I met all these extraordinary men and I said, this is what you need to do. And great credit to AFL Gujranwala, AFL Multan, AFL Islamabad. They jumped on board and they got teams playing in each of those areas for both men and women and giving those opportunities through sport. And like you said, through the game of AFL, who would have thought that AFL would even be known in Pakistan, nevertheless wanted to be played. And then it gives those players opportunity, it builds their self-confidence, and most importantly, they love it. It's great fun. That's why we play AFL in Australia, isn't it?
Why do you think that, because the game of AFL, soccer would have been a big thing in Pakistan, I'm sure, basketball or those sort of codes, but why do you think AFL has taken off, or why do you think it's popular in Pakistan? Because they would have seen it on TV possibly, but why do you think it's caught on in some sort of capacity over there?
Yeah, good question, Stoney. That's why I've let you take over my TV show on A1 TV, because you're the best in the business. And Stoney, make sure you keep watching this bloke. And I wouldn't give up my TV show to anyone. And unfortunately, due to going back into teaching full time and joining a new school and going into the secondary curriculum and coaching with that, I don't have the time to continue on with A1 TV. But thanks to Stoney, I'll be back on for a few visits throughout the year. They just love it, Stoney. They love the interaction. The women, just like when they got the opportunity to play here in Australia, they love tackling. They just love the physicality. They get their aggression out and get an opportunity to team and bond and just have so much fun. When the Pakistan women's team played here in 2019, they were known, even though we came last, we only kicked 1 goal throughout the whole tournament, but when we did, it was like we won the grand final. They would sing the Pakistani songs, Dil Dil Pakistan, Dil Jan Jan Pakistan, at the end of every game, and they brought that life and that joy to both. There were many teams, like when we played Fiji at the end, they were in a big huddle together, you know, Pakistan player, Fijian player, singing and being joyful. And that's what creates world peace, isn't it, Stoney? You've given the opportunities for cultures to come together And that's the most powerful thing of all. And we're just in the process, you wouldn't believe it, of organising a AFL Pakistan tournament against AFL Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka. And we're hoping to invite AFL India to be involved as well. And then I got a call I get calls all night from AFL Pakistan, and they want to hold a tournament in Dubai. AFL Dubai was just announced the other day on Facebook, and they've got friends there and connections, and said, why can't we play there? And I said, why not? Why not? Why not?
You know what? You'd probably find, Mick, that, you know, expats everywhere around the world, that, you know, if you get some expats teaching the girls or teaching the players how to play the game, the skill sets of it, it's going to improve even more and more as we get more experience in there. And as we see at Young Auskick at junior level, it improves when the skills get better, the girls get better. So that's a really good thing also.
Yeah, that's right. And it's great. Again, they're volunteers like me. All the charity work that I've ever done over my whole entire life and been paid a cent. It's cost me. There's no doubt. Footies for All's cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it wouldn't change it for the world. And again, thanks to the amazing support of my wife, Amanda Gallus, and my kids, Thomas and Lily and Ben, have been involved and support me in everything I do. And again, I've been lucky enough to do it in Fiji and also New Zealand, and support a soccer tournament in Africa, which I hope to get to one day as well. And those opportunities in your life, you just got to be open to them. And yes, I mean, the Australian government told me not to travel to Pakistan. The travel warning, the whole country was red. But again, you think of the courage those girls had coming to our country. I could not go over there. And I knew, thanks to the Shaheen's group here in Melbourne, Dr. Saeed Harris and Cash, and Wazim, good old Wazim, one of the greatest coaches going around in Melbourne, that I would be safe where I was. And when I thought, what an amazing experience. I've got an opportunity to go to Pakistan, which has basically been locked down for Westerners, white Westerners. And some of the places I went, I was the first white fella they'd met. It was like Brad Pitt. I had press conference, you had TV cameras, autographs, and
I saw it,
extraordinary.
Hey, just a question, a few more things about you. Just recently, you actually took an opportunity to run for council and local council, and that must have been a really interesting and good experience for you, Michael, to do that, because not everybody can run for council, but it's a big thing for people in the community.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. Again, with COVID, lockdown, the timing was right. I was working casually. I had time. If I was lucky enough to get in, I had time to commit to it, because my kids are all older now and don't need me around as much, and probably don't want me around as much because I'm so crazy now. Very embarrassing, Stoney. Very embarrassing to them. Yeah, ran for the city of Moonee Valley. Had a crack. I've taught here and been a part of this community for about 40 years, so I knew enough people. Whether they'd vote for me or not, that was the issue. One thing I did differently than everyone else, and obviously they didn't like, I didn't promise anything. I promised to represent them. I didn't promise to lower taxes. I didn't promise to do things that I couldn't be 100% sure that I'd be able to do. And the winning candidates, the three winning candidates, and good luck to them, they did promise all these things. One of them was costed at, I think it was $10 million, and there's no way within common sense they would have been able to do that. The budget had already been set for the next 12 months. So then how are you going to make those promises come true? You couldn't. But I knew if I was going to run, I was going to run on integrity and honesty and passion, and leave it up to the people. And sadly, the people, not enough people. I got 800 votes, and a big shout out and thank you to those 800 people that backed me, and really opened my eyes to the corruption and to the, well, basically lying that goes on at politics at all levels. And you had to run in teams. I ran by myself as an independent. You're up against the Labor Party, the Liberal Party, other people like sitting councillors who had teams of people around them. So they ran in groups of three and preferences into their one. And unless you had that support around you and you ran that strategy, unfortunately, yeah, you weren't going to get in. So, which I learned. Wouldn't take it back, and had a great time, met some amazing people. And again, you've got to have a crack in life. And if you don't fail, then I believe you're not having a hard enough crack.
You know what? Over your right shoulder, the viewers of this TV, A1 TV here, are going to see the Carlton football jump. Now, all the Pakistani people watching this show, Michael is a Carlton True Blue and been fond for how long? Why Carlton, Michael?
Yeah, well, like you, Stoney, probably, and many of our viewers, I bagged for what my dad bagged for, and he bagged for what his dad bagged for. And I was very lucky enough to have my parents and my grandparents bag for the Mighty Blues, and non-negotiable. I was talking to one of the teachers, Megan Kazali, today at work, and I said, why are you bagging for Collingwood? She goes, my dad did. What else could I do? And I said, that's exactly right. So, and I've been blessed. I've seen them win 81, 79, 81, 82 flags and 95, and looking forward to them winning a flag soon, so my kids can enjoy it as well.
Are your kids all Carlton?
Yes, they certainly are. My daughter went to the dark side, Collingwood there for a while, but I said to her, I'm never taking you to a game if it's a Collingwood game, because for our viewers, Carlton and Collingwood are arch rivals, like India and Pakistan, exactly the same sentiments and passion against each other. So there was no way I was taking her, because her grandfather was a Collingwood member through and through. So he took them with her cousin. But then she saw Jack Silvani and thought, he's not a bad bloke. And one of my other mates, Dan, the Carlton man, said, I'll get a signed jumper for you. And if she comes back to Carlton, she goes, Dad, I'm coming back to Carlton, because Jordan De Goey wasn't as good looking as he used to be, and Jack had him covered. So we got a jumper, and she jumped back. Thank God for that. Yes, thank God for that, Stoney.
Now, I've got a couple of questions before you go, Mick. Is that you actually tried the trade of Uber driving, which is something you've got into? That was something different to do, Mick?
Yeah, I did night shift for 12 months in Melbourne. Not last year, the year before, and oh, jeebus, you meet some amazing people doing that, and you meet some crazy people, and there's never a dull moment. Not much money in it, Stoney, so I unfortunately had to give that up on the full-time basis. But again, yeah, just an extraordinary opportunity to meet people at the grassroots level, from street people, homeless people, up to celebrities. Wayne Carey I picked up and drove around. What a gentleman. And yeah, lucky enough to, and you meet all sorts. You meet the street workers, you meet the sex workers, you meet politicians, and it's like you go and see your hairdresser. They tell you their life story, and you learn all about them and their professions. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and look forward to going back to it one day when I don't need as much money to survive upon.
And in COVID, you gave them lollipops and water, which is a really good thing, because your Uber drivers have got to look after their passengers, Michael.
You do, you certainly do, and it's amazing what I used to give out Chupa Chups. Amazing what a Chupa Chup, and the joy it would bring to people that they could take a Chupa Chup and take it on their way, and phone charges, and again, just like life, if you put in that little bit extra and show some passion, you want to bring joy to people too in your life and in your job and in your community, and it's not hard to do. You just got to take a little bit of extra steps, and you can really change the world for positive.
Now you've gone, Mick, a couple of last ones. You've gone back to teaching, and a big opportunity for yourself to be at a good school and a different scenario with your teaching now.
Yeah, that's right. Gilson College, an amazing place out at Taylor's Hill. And I used to teach at Penley and Essen Grammar School, and I'm very lucky to have had that opportunity over 2 decades of a elite private school, and to go from that into Gilson College, which is a very smaller private school and very multicultural. It's great to have kids from Africa, from India, from Samoa, New Zealand, Fiji, all realms of the world, and to be given the opportunity at a Year 7 level. Again, to coach them in sport, which is amazing. I love playing sport with kids and passing on my knowledge to them to make them better people, and also teaching maths and English, which again, if you can read and write and you've got education, again, in this country you can be anyone you want to be. I mean, Paul Keating became Prime Minister, he left school at Year 10. So I'm not advocating that for our younger viewers out there. The more education you can get, the greater your opportunities in life. And as a teacher, that's the greatest job in the world, because you've got that opportunity to inspire kids, but also to equip them with skills they can use right throughout their lives.
What year are you doing, Michael? What year are you doing this year?
Yeah, Year 7. Year 7, the toughest secondary school year you could do, apart from year 12, especially term 1. They all come in like bees to the honey pot. They don't know where their lockers are. They don't know where their rooms are. They don't know what's going on. So the first day starts very soon. And then, yeah, first term's going to be a blur. If you can survive first term, you can survive the year.
Now, Mick, one last one. Your life is just full. It has been full for a very long time. I'm really privileged to have episode 1 of Stoney's piece on A1 TV. Probably two-part question. What have you got installed, and what can you leave me with, Michael? Yeah, probably question without notice.
What's the future?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever. Yeah, basically, what the plan is at the moment, yeah, to be a secondary school teacher and obviously continue to develop AFL across Pakistan as much as I can, which is quite extraordinary. And after not getting in with council, just to take a bit of a step back and spend some quality time with my family as well. So over the last 9 years, a lot of time's gone into a lot of volunteer work, and I'll continue to do that. But really strong focus for me. And COVID gave lots of people lots of time, me included, to think about life. And the most important thing in life is your family and those relationships, and to spend some time. And my family's been really good to me in allowing me to do all these extracurricular activities with charities, and it's my turn now to spend some time with them. What to take away from my life is, again, just have a crack, do your best. You're going to fail. There's nothing wrong with failure. Okay, nothing wrong with it all. We all think that, oh, you're like, I didn't get into council, so you failed. No, I had 3 or 4 months of campaigning, meeting extraordinary people, learning about myself, learning about the community, learning about how politics works. And it showed that wasn't for me at this stage of my life. Yet that steered me back into teaching and gave me an opportunity to coach and to educate kids again, which is the greatest job in the world. So just be open to new opportunities, have a crack. And if they don't work out, well, as we say, Stoney, one door closes, one door opens.
Michael Gallus, A1 TV, first guest, Stoney's piece. Wait till next week. Next guest, another guest on the show, and another really informative chat. Some really great people doing great things. Thanks very much, Michael.
No, pleasure being here. Hello to all my viewers on A1 TV. Thanks for all your support over last year. One of the most extraordinary things I did in my life as well, and I thank you for all the support you gave me. And I look forward to checking back in with Stoney's piece. Make sure you keep listening to this bloke and watching this bloke, because I wouldn't have put him on if he's not extraordinary like me. And you'll learn a great deal and be inspired by the people he talks to as well. Thanks for taking it on board, Stoney, and good luck with it.
Thanks, Michael.